I thought I'd share a few of the things I'm going to be growing this year. I don't have a final list made, and I'm not even close to having one, but I can show you a few of the things that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be growing. We're looking at some tomatoes I grew a couple of years ago here, but I'm just going to start with tomatoes because I really like growing tomatoes. I will be growing a few new tomatoes this year, and a couple of plants I'm going to try are dwarf varieties, so that's going to be interesting for me. Once I actually have some things planted, I'll go into a lot more details, but I'll share what I know right now. We grew Aunt Ruby's German green for the first time last year, and it did pretty well out in our garden. It's a larger tomato and tastes pretty good to us, so we're going to give it another shot. Another one we grew last year that we're going to grow again is the white tomaso. We really love the flavor of this one. The white tomasos had a lot of cat face fruits, but they tasted so good that I just have to grow them again. The Belgium giant is another one we've grown before. It's always done pretty well for us. It grows consistently large tomatoes. They're meaty, they are crack resistant, and they taste pretty good, so there's not much to complain about when it comes to this tomato. Boxcar Willie is another one we've grown before. It's just a smallish sized tomato that tastes pretty good and sets on a little better than some of the larger tomatoes in the heat, so that's why I'm growing it. Last year it got hot really early in May, and whenever it gets hot early here, sometimes the tomatoes have a hard time setting on. I experimented a little bit with using shade cloth, and I have that available this year in case we need it. We grew things in straw bales for the first time last year, and I really enjoyed doing that, so we're going to be planting at least 4 bales this year, maybe a couple more. I'm not really sure. Last year we planted eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, and we'll probably be planting a few tomatoes and peppers this year. I'm not sure about eggplants yet. Last year I grew quite a few different types of peppers, and I plan to do that again this year. I have a list of about 20 peppers or so that I'm considering. A couple of them are ahi peppers. I've never grown those before, so I'm looking forward to that. I grew Buena Mulata peppers last year, and I plan to grow them again this year. They have about the same heat as a cayenne pepper, but they really add some interesting color to the garden. I really like that. Another pepper that I grew last year that I'm going to grow again is the fish pepper. It's just a kind of a cool pepper to look at with a variegated foliage. Another repeat from last year is Courbaki. Once they turn red, they're some of the best tasting sweet peppers I've ever tasted. Oda peppers have become a favorite of ours, and we'll be growing those again this year also. We like the albino bullnose. This, the white bell pepper at the bottom of the screen. And just to the right of it, the other white pepper is a Santa Fe Grande, and we also liked how they performed. We'll probably make room for one poblano plant. The green pepper to the right of the screen is a hybrid. It's a cross between one of the purple Odas and a hot pepper, so I'm really interested in seeing how that will continue in the next generation. Most years we grow a few sunflowers, and this year we're going to grow a variety called Mongolian Giant. The flower heads on these are supposed to be 16 to 18 inches across, and the plant itself can grow up to 14 feet tall. Sunflowers are useful in a lot of ways. As you can see here, they attract pollinators, and they're ornamental, and they're edible. One of the things I like about sunflowers is how many different species of bees they attract. Along with regular sunflowers, we're going to plant Mexican torch sunflowers. They're supposed to be good at attracting butterflies, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. We'll also probably plant a few Velvet Queen sunflowers. They're a smaller sized orange colored sunflower, and the birds really like the seeds. We usually keep whatever seeds we think we need, and then we let the birds have the rest. I grew Rosita eggplants for the first time last year. I just grew one plant, and it produced a decent number of fruit, and the flesh is really white and mild tasting, so I like that. And along with the Rosita, another one that I've grown before that I think I'm going to grow again is the Matoyo. I like that one. It produces a good number of eggplants, and like the Rosita, it's pretty mild. Then an easy to grow, very productive eggplant is the long purple. It's the lighter colored purple eggplants to the right of the Rositas. They're just a good overall eggplant. A new one I'm going to try this year is Ping Tung. Carrie of Carrie's Gardening Channel mentioned it, and that Pat 1 also mentioned it. I went and checked it out, read the reviews, and it sounds like it might be a good one, so I'm going to give it a chance this year. While I was checking out the Ping Tung, I saw one called Little Fingers. It grows smallish size fruits, and I think I'm going to try that one in a container. We have a hard time with squash vine borers around here, and the green striped cushaw wasn't fazed by much at all, so I'm going to try to make room for at least one or two vines. This is a new one I'm going to try this year. It's supposed to set on really quickly, and I think I'm going to keep it covered while it's young and then uncover it and hope to get some squash before the vine borers get to it. We'll just have to see how it goes. Here's another one that I haven't grown before, and I'm hoping it'll be more resistant to vine borers, but there's only one way to find out, so we're going to give it a try. I grew goji berries in a container, and I'm looking forward to seeing if those come back in the spring. Another plant that I'm hoping will survive the winter is the banana tree. It grew very well in just 6 short months, and if it gets off to an early start next spring, then it should even get taller this year. We grew several ornamental peppers in containers last year, and I really liked the color that they add to the garden. Here you're looking at some glass gem corn that I grew last year. I also grew some grocery store popcorn, and I was able to successfully cross the two. So this year I'm going to be growing the hybrid cross between the glass gem corn and the grocery store popcorn, and I'm kind of excited to see how that works out. This will be my 3rd year that I've grown things in grow bags, and they're still holding up pretty well, so I'm going to use them again. What you're looking at here are Yukon Gold potatoes, and I did pretty well with those, so I'm going to grow them again if I can find some good seed potatoes. I'm also going to be growing some sweet potatoes in the grow bags. I'll be growing at least 2 different types. What you're looking at here are yellow jerseys. They produced really well for me last year. I haven't decided on what type of sweet potato I'm going to grow, but I'm going to grow at least a couple of new types, I think. These sweet potatoes also worked out as a pretty good ground cover around the edge of the garden. I kind of like that. I usually try to make room for some carrots, and what you're looking at here are purple dragon carrots. I've grown them before, and I have plenty of seeds, so I think I'm going to grow some of those this year. I've been breeding irises for years, and I plan to continue with that. I just find it interesting to be able to produce something that's unique, something that you can't buy in a store. Last year I got interested in breeding zinnias, and I did some hand pollinating, and this year I'll be growing the seeds that I produced last year. I enjoyed growing tomatillos last year, but I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to grow them again this year. I do know one thing for sure, I really miss having all that fresh stuff from the garden. For those who might have wondered if I have anything growing indoors, all I have right now are a couple of bananas. These are the ones that I planted from seed last summer. They're Musa velutina, and they don't get as large as the one I had growing out by the shed. Got two in this one pot. And I also went ahead and planted a few herbs in a pot. I kind of miss having cilantro and basil, so I planted some of those. That's about all we have going on right now. If you're just now finding this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Otherwise, like, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.